Here, when we place a charge Q inside a cavity, induced charge on the inner surface will be Qi. So let me take one sphere, and this is a cavity inside this one. So this is the conductor surface, solid surface. So this is a cavity. So this is a cavity. Now, if you keep a charge inside this cavity, so let me keep one charge here. So I am keeping a charge Q here inside this cavity. The induced charge on the inner surface will be Qi. So a charge will be induced here, which is known as Qi. So how to find this Qi? Qi arranges such a way that the net electric field due to Q and Qi at every point outside the inner surface. So this is the inner surface. Outside the inner surface at any point, where it is A or B at C, within the conductor, not outside the conductor, not outside, but within the conductor, the net electric field is 0. So let me take that concept. Now, if you want to find out electric field at a point, just assume one Gaussian surface here. So this is a Gaussian surface which is passing through this point B. So let us say point C is somewhere here, point A is somewhere here. So I am finding electric field due to point B. That means electric field into dA bar is equal the net charge enclosed by epsilon naught. So they are telling that the electric field within the conductor will be 0. So electric field within a conductor is always 0. So here this will be 0 is equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught. So the charge enclosed must be 0. But what is the charge enclosed by this Gaussian surface here? We have two charges here. That is Q plus Qi is equal to 0. So what we can write? Qi is equal to minus Q. That means the charge induced inside this one is exactly equal to the charge at the center, but opposite to this one. Let us say if it is Q, so this Q induced will be minus Q. That means a negative charge will be induced here on the surface. And one more point, whenever negative charge is induced inside, a positive charge will be induced on the outside. The total charge on this surface outside is also plus Q. So what are the induced charges? Whenever a charge is placed inside a cavity, a minus Q charge will be induced here inside the surface, and plus Q charge will be induced on the other surface or outside the surface. Now see the second point. If you place a charge outside the conductor, now for the same thing, let me draw one more diagram. This is the surface, that means conductor, and this is the cavity, and this is a now. If you place a charge outside the conductor, so let me take one charge Q naught which is placed outside the conductor, or even if you apply one electric field here. Now let us say this is the applied electric field. This is the electric field. It is telling, we are telling that then it will not affect Q and Qi. What is the charge inside this one? This is Q, this is Qi. So these two charges, but the charge on this one plus Q, this is a minus Q, directly I am writing Qi is now minus Q. So these two charges, that is Q and Qi, which is equal to Qi, will not be affected by the external charge or the external field applied. That means these two are safe from the external field, and this phenomena we call it as electrostatic shielding. So what is meant by electrostatic shielding? Protecting these charges within a cavity from the external charge or external electric field is called electrostatic shielding. So in this, what is the meaning of this one? A charge which is placed inside the cavity or a instrument which is placed inside a cavity will be protected, can be protected from the effect of the external electric field. That means if you keep some charges here or some instruments here, this instrument as well as these charges will not be affected by the external electric field. So in conducting cavities, this is conducting cavities. Let me take one spherical body which is charged positively on its surface. Let the total charge on this one is Q. So inside this one, I have a small cavity. This is the cavity. Now within this cavity there is no charge. Now let the radius of this one is R1 and radius of this one is R2. Let us say this is at the center of this one only. So if you take this cavity at the center, so this radius is R1 and this radius is R2. Let me take some points here. Point A, point B. Let us say this is point C. So what are the electric fields at point A, point B, point C? It is a conducting cavity. That means this is a solid material. So in this, we know that the electric field at this point A will be 0. Why? Because charge is spread only on the outer surface. If you construct a Gaussian surface within this, here if you construct a Gaussian surface, so this Gaussian surface is not going to enclose any amount of charge. So when the charge is 0, what we can say, the electric field is 0. So at point A, the electric field is 0. Now point B, so this is point B. Once again, if you construct a Gaussian surface such that that point B lies on the Gaussian surface, within this also charge enclosed will be 0. So electric field at point B is also 0. Now what is this point C? Let us say this is at a distance of R from the center. Now if you construct a Gaussian surface here, so this point is on that Gaussian surface with radius R. So this Gaussian surface is enclosing a charge Q here. So what is the electric field at point C? Electric field at point C is going by K total charge by square of the distance from the center. So these are the electric fields at point A, B and C. Now what is the potential at point A? So for this, what is potential at point A? Potential is given by K Q by R. But we know that the potential on the surface of this sphere, on the surface KQ by R2. So what is the potential here? KQ by R2, KQ by R2, KQ by R2, KQ by R2. Even at the center this is KQ by R2. So this is KQ by R2. Similarly, what is the potential at point B? This is also potential on the surface which is given by KQ by R2. But what is the potential at this point C? This is given by Vc is equal to KQ by small r. Here, let me take one sphere of radius R2 and I have taken one small cavity inside this one of radius, this is R1, this radius is R2. I am going to keep a charge Q at the center of this one, a charge Q at the center of this one. This is charge Q. What happens to this one? As it is a solid conducting sphere with a cavity, conducting sphere means induction takes place in this one. Due to the presence of this charge Q, one negative charge will be induced inside this one. So the negative induced charge, that is induced charge within the inner surface of this shell will be equal to Q but opposite to the, that is Q I is equal to, we know this is minus Q. So a charge minus Q will be induced inside this one and a charge plus Q will be induced on the outer surface of the sphere. So this value is minus Q. The induced charge inner surface of the sphere is minus Q and the charge induced on the outer surface is plus Q. Now let me take 3 points once again. This is point A, this is point B, and let me take point C outside this system. Let me find out electric field at these points. Now here I want to find out as electric field as well as electric potential at a point A, B and C. So what is electric field? First at A, at point A. Here at point A, we will have electric field due to this positive charge. We will have electric field due to this negative charge, and we will have electric field due to this induced positive charge on the surface. So that means we have three different electric fields. So electric field at A is due to positive charge Q, due to induced charge minus Q, due to positive charge induced plus Q, and the total electric field. Similarly, the potential at this point A is also due to positive charge, also due to negative charge, also due to the positive charge induced on the surface, and the total potential. So we have four terms here. So let me draw one table here. What is the electric field at point A? At point A, if you construct a Gaussian surface here, this Gaussian surface is enclosing only this charge Q. So what is the potential electric field due to the charge Q at point A? This is given by K Q by that distance. Let me take it as R square, where R is the distance of this charge from this point. So this is R. Next, what is the electric field at point A due to the negative charge? Remember students, when we are drawing a Gaussian surface, this Gaussian surface is not enclosing the negative charge induced inner surface of the sphere. So when it is not enclosing, electric field due to negative charge will be 0, because that Gaussian surface is not enclosing the negative charge. Similarly, the same Gaussian surface is not enclosing the charge on the outer surface of the sphere. So here also the electric field due to the positive charge will be 0. So what is the total electric field at point A due to all these three charges? This plus this plus this, which is given by KQ by R square. Potential at A, this is given by KQ by R due to negative charge minus KQ by R1 due to positive charge KQ by R2, because potential on the surface is equal to potential on the at the center. So if you add these three, KQ common 1 by R2 minus 1 by R1 plus 1 by R. Now at B, if you want to find out at B, so what is electric field at B, what is potential at B? Now at B, this is the point. We know that if you draw the Gaussian surface, it is enclosing two different charges, one positive charge, one negative charge. So the total charge enclosed by this one is 0. So we can write electric field due to this charge, this will be 0. Total electric field. But here, if I want to write only the electric field due to B, due to this Q, what we can write? This we can write KQ by, let this distance is smaller again. So this is KQ by R square, and electric field due to negative charge minus KQ by R square, and electric field due to the outside charge, that is positive charge, induced charge is 0, and if you add these two, you will get 0 here. Why? Because as it is a metal conducting wire, conducting sphere, means this is a metallic one, so within the metal electric field is always 0. Similarly, what is the potential at point B? The potential at point B is given by due to positive charge, this is KQ by R, the distance is R, and due to negative charge minus KQ by R, and electric field potential due to this charge at this point within this one equal to potential on the surface, which is given by KQ by R2. Once again these two get cancelled, the answer is KQ by R2. This is for at B. Now you have to see how to find potential and field. So C is a point outside this one. Now if you construct a Gaussian surface here, it is enclosing three charges, one positive charge at center, one negative charge inner surface, and one more positive charge at center on the surface. So these two will become 0, only this charge will be available. So what is the electric field due to positive charge at that one? We can write KQ by R square. what is electric field due to negative charge? So this is also equal to minus kq by r square. What is electric field due to this charge at that point? So this will be kq by r square. These two once again get cancelled. This is kq by r square. So what is the potential at point C? Now potential at point C is given by, this is charge q, distance of this one is r, so we can write kq by r, negative charge minus kq by r, and charge induced on the outer surface kq by r. Here also these two get cancelled, this will be kq by r. Here a conducting cavity is there and a charge minus q is placed at the center. Now if you add 3 coulombs charge, that means 3q charge onto the surface, so what are the potentials at A, at B as well as at C, at 3 different points? We know that whenever a charge is there present in the cavity at the center, an equal and opposite charge will be induced within this one, so this will be plus q and this will be minus q. So what are the charges now, the new charges? So within this surface charge is plus q, and on the outer surface actual charge added, 3q charge added and minus q charge is induced. So the total charge on the outer surface, total charge on outer surface is 3q minus q, which is equal to 2q. So this is the total charge on the outer surface. Now let me find out the potential on the 3 different points. So at potential at A, which is given by, this charge is minus q, let the distance of this point from here to here is smaller. So this is given by minus kq by r, and the potential at this point is due to this charge. Even though it is on the surface, the radius of this one is capital R, and the potential at this point is kq by capital R. But the same potential exists throughout this cavity, so which is given by k plus q by capital R. This is potential on the surface, also equal potential at this point A. Now what is the potential on this outer surface? The total charge on the outer surface is tq. So what we can write? K into 2q by 2r. So let me cancel this and this. So the potential on this surface is given by kq common, this is minus 1 by r, this is 1 by 1 by r, this is 1 by r, that is 2 by r. So kq 2 by r minus 1 by r. This is the total potential at point A. Now what is the potential at point B? So to find out the potential at point B at the distance r from this point, so now potential at point B is given by, the positive charge, the point charge at this point is minus q, so this is minus kq by r. Potential due to this positive charge, when you are finding potential outside this one, just assume that the total charge is constant at the center, which is also given by plus kq by r, and the potential on the surface is k 2q by 2r. And you can see this, these two values are equal and get cancels, these two. So the total potential on the surface on that point B is kq by r. Now third point, now if you take a point outside the system, which is point C. So at C, the potential is given by, once again let me take the distance is r, the negative charge, point charge is at the center, this is minus kq by r plus kq by r plus k into 2q by, this distance is also r. Once again these two get cancelled, this will be 2kq by r. Here in conducting thin shells, so I have taken 2 shells of radii r1 and r2 with the points A, B, C. A within the first shell, B between the 2 shells, C outside the system. Now how to find out the potential at this point A? The potential at point A is given by K. The charge on this one is plus Q1, charge on this one is plus Q2. Whatever the charge that is present on the shell, the potential on the surface will be K Q1 by R1. the same potential can exist at this point also. That means potential on the surface equal to potential within the surface. So this is given by K Q1 by R1 plus, as charge is present on the outer shell also, the potential on the outer shell at a distance R2 is given by KQ by Q2 by R2. The same potential exists throughout this one at any point here, here, here. So I can write this as K Q2 by R2. So this is potential at point A. Now what is potential at point B? The potential at point B is given by the total charge on this one is Q1 and distance of this one, let me take it as R. So this will become K Q1 by R plus potential due to this charge exists here also, which is going to be K Q2 by on the surface R2. Potential on the surface is potential within the surface. Now what is the potential at point C, that is at a distance R from the center here. So this is given by, due to this potential, due to this charge on this inner shell, so we know that according to shell theorem or this one, the total charge even though present on the outer surface of this one, we have to assume that this charge is constant at the center at a distance R. So this is given by K Q1 by R plus, here also the charge is Q2, so just assume that it is a place center. So this is K Q2 by R. So the potential at this one is given by K by R, the total charge on the system. So this is a VC. Now if I want to find out the potential on the surface of the first sphere as well as on the second sphere, the potential on the surface of the first sphere S1, I can write here the potential is due to this charge, which is given by K Q1 by R1 plus potential on the first sphere due to this charge, potential on the surface equal potential on the inside this one. So this is K Q2 by R2. Similarly, what is the potential on the second surface? This is given by on the second surface somewhere here. So this is due to this charge Q1 at a distance R2. So this is K Q1 by R2 on the surface of this one, K Q2 by R2. So this can be written as K by R2, the sum of the charges, that is Q1 plus Q2. Next one, if you take this problem, here I have taken two shells of radii R and 2R, and at center a charge Q is present, on the inner surface a charge 2Q is present, on the outer surface a charge minus Q is present. So here also let me find out the potential at three different points. One is here A, this is B, and this is C. So I need to find out potential at three different points. So at A, which is a distance of R from the center, so what is the potential at the center point A? This is given by, this is a point charge which is a distance of R. This you can write KQ by R plus, and this charge is TQ, and due to the charge present on this inner surface, potential here is K 2Q by R. So this is the potential on the surface, which is also equal to the potential at point A. Now what is the potential due to negative charge at a distance 2R from the center? This is given by minus K, because the potential due to negative charge is negative, so minus Q by 2R. So this is potential at point A. Now what is potential at point B? Potential at point B is given by, first of all, due to this point charge at a distance R, let me take it as KQ by R, and due to this 2Q charge, K 2Q by the distance R, and due to this negative charge on the surface, this is minus KQ by 2R. This is potential at point B. Now how to find the potential at point C, which is a distance once again R. So this VC is given by, due to this point charge, the potential is KQ by R. Due to this 2Q charge, this is K into 2Q by small r, and due to this negative charge, minus K into Q by small r. You can see these two get cancelled. So potential only depends upon the inner charge, that is 2KQ by R. Here, if I want to find out potential difference between these two shells. So PD between two shells, two surface of the shells, two surfaces of the shells. So I am writing delta V. This is potential on the inner surface minus potential on the outer surface. So this is the potential on the inner surface. This is the potential on the outer surface, which I am going to give Vs1 minus Vs2. What is Vs1? Here I can write KQ1 by R1 plus KQ2 by R2. So this is the potential on the inner surface minus what is the potential on the outer surface? KQ1 by R2 plus KQ2 by R2. You can see these two get cancelled. So potential difference between the two surfaces is given by KQ1 by R1 minus KQ1 by R2. That means if you take KQ1 common, this is 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. The potential difference between the two surfaces only depends upon the inner charge, that is charge present on this one. Now if you want to add some more charge onto this one, now it is Q1, this is Q2. Now if you add Q3 charge now, so what happens to the potential difference between the two surfaces? So let me write this one. So what is the potential on the inner surface in the second case? So now Vs1 is Vs1 dash, all right, let me write. This will be KQ1 by R1, potential at this point due to this charge, plus K, what is the total charge on this surface? This is Q2 plus Q3 by this radius is R2. So this is a potential on the inner surface. Now what is the potential on the outer surface after adding this charge Q3? So this will be KQ1 by R2. This is KQ2 plus Q3 by R2. Now if you want to find out the potential difference here, these two get cancelled. So this will be KQ1 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. If you observe this value and if you observe this value, you can see one similarity, that is the potential difference between two shells never depends upon the charge on the outer shell. The potential difference only depends upon the charge present on the inner shell. So the conclusion is PD between two concentric shells, because both are having the same center, two concentric shells does not depend on the charge present on the outer shell, on charge present on outer shell. That means it only depends upon the charge present on the inner shell. Now let me give one problem here. The potential difference between these two is given in a problem as the potential difference between these two is given as 10 volts. The charge on this one is 2 coulombs and the charge on this one is 8 coulombs. So when the charges are 2 coulombs and 8 coulombs, the potential difference is 10 volts. Now if you add 20 coulombs charge to this one, what is the potential difference between these two shells? Even then, by adding any amount of charge on the outer shell, the potential difference never changes. It remains as 10 volts. And this problem was given so many times in the competitive exams. So in this problem, there are 3 concentric shells with charges Q and minus Q. Q is on the first shell and minus Q is on the second shell, and the middle shell is earthed here. This is earthed. So they are asking us to find charge on middle shell when it is earthed. Now we know that whenever a surface is earthed, the total potential on that surface must become 0. Charge may or may not become 0, but the potential on the surface must be 0. Now we know the distance from this is 2r and the charge is q here. So potential on the second surface, that is second shell, I will write Vs2 0. So what is this Vs2? The potential on this surface, that is K Q by 2R. Let us say the charge on this one Q, it may be 0 or may not be 0. So I am finding that Q only. So plus KQ by 2R, and the potential due to this charge at this point is equal to the potential on the surface minus KQ by 4R. This must be 0. For any earthed surface, the potential on the surface must be equal to 0. Now, based on this one, let me take the LCM 4R. This is 2KQ plus 2KQ minus KQ is equal to 0. Now, by cross multiplication, you will get this is 2KQ minus KQ, that is KQ plus 2K small q is equal to 0. Now, KK get cancelled. So Q is equal to minus 2Q, and the charge on the middle sphere after earthing will be minus Q by 2. Here, let me take one sphere of radius R1 and the outer sphere of radius R2. So this is R1, this is R2. Let the charge on this one is Q1 and the charge on this one is Q2. Now these two are connected with a key here. So this is K key. Now when this key is closed, then what happens? When this key is closed, then the charge will transfer from one of the sphere to the other sphere. Let us say the inner sphere, as the radius is lesser, it will have more potential. Charge will travel from inner sphere to outer sphere. So after key is closed, then what happens? The potential on the first surface must be equal to the potential on the second surface. That is the condition. That means charge flows from one surface to another surface till their potentials are equal. Now what is the new potential on this surface? So this is given by K. Actual charge Q1, but a small q charge passed from this sphere to this sphere through this key. So the present charge will be Q1 minus Q by R1 plus, as this charge is added to this one, the charge on this one will become Q2 plus small q, that is K Q2 plus small q by R2. So this is the total potential on the first shell. Now what is the potential on the second shell after key is closed? So this is a Vs2 I am finding now, K, this is Q2 plus Q by R2 plus K, Q1 minus Q by R2. You can see these two are same. So let me cancel it. Now KK also get cancelled. So Q1 minus Q by R1 is equal Q1 minus Q by R2. Now cross multiplication. Q1 R2 minus Q R2 is equal Q1 R1 minus Q R1. So let me bring small q's one side and capital Q's one side. So this is Q1 R2, this will become minus R1 is equal, this will be Q R2 minus R1. As these two are same, the total charge that is traveling from this sphere to this sphere will be equal to the total charge on this sphere, which is given by Q1. That means whenever two spheres are connected like this, if they are metallic spheres, the entire charge will travel from here to here, because this is the charge that is going to flow through this key. In charge distribution, I have taken 3 concentric shells of different radii. Radii is not required. But at the center of this system, that is at the concentric center, means at the center, I kept a charge minus q here. This is minus q. And the charge on the first shell is plus q, second shell minus 2q, third shell 3q. Now due to induction here, what happens? We will see. Minus q charge will induce equal and opposite charge in the inner surface and a similar charge on the outer surface. So what is the charge induced here? As it is a negative, a positive charge will be induced inside this first shell, inner surface of the first shell, and an equal amount of negative charge will be induced on the outer shell like this. So what is these charges? What are these charges? The charges are, this is plus q, this is minus q. Now, what is the total charge on this surface now? This is plus q, this is minus q. So, together it will become 0. So, what is the charge induced here? 0. What is the charge induced here? 0, because sum of these two will be 0. Now, so what is the charge on the inner surface of the second shell? 0. Outer surface of the second shell, minus 2q only, because minus 2q plus 0 will be minus 2q. Due to this, once again, a charge will be induced here. The total charge minus 2q here, plus 2q charge will be induced here. As it is a negative, opposite charge will be induced here. So what is the total charge on this one? This is plus 2q. This is plus 2q, and similarly minus 2q charge will be induced on the outside, that means outer surface of the third shell. So these are the charge distributions. So due to this, now let me find out the total charges present on this three shells, inside as well as outside. So let me take the charge at the center. So what is the charge at the center here? Charge at a common center is equal to minus q. So this is the point charge which is placed here, minus q. So charge on the inner surface of first shell. Inner surface of the first shell, that is the charge which is induced here. Whatever the charge which is present here, it will induce an equal and opposite charge here. So this will be plus q. Then what is the charge? Charge on the outer surface of first shell. So what is the charge on the outer surface here? So I need to add these two. So this is the charge present already, and this is the induced charge here, and sum of these two, q minus q, which is equal to 0. Similarly, what is the charge on the inner surface of second shell? This is the inner surface of a shell. Here, as the charge on the first shell is 0, so there is no induced charge on the inner surface of second shell. So this will be 0. As it is 0, induced charge is also 0. Now, what is the charge on the outer surface of second shell? So what is the charge present initially? Minus 2q. What is the induced charge here? 0. So together this will be minus 2q only. Now what is the charge on inner surface of third shell? Inner surface of the third shell, this is minus 2q, induced charge will be plus 2q. So answer is plus 2q. And charge on outer surface of third shell. So what is the total charge? The actual charge on the surface is plus 3q, and the new induced charge is minus 2q. So this will be 3q minus 2q, that is q. So now let me write the final charges on these surfaces. On the first surface it is 0, on the second surface it is minus 2q, on the third surface it is only q. In the continuation, let me take one more problem here. I have taken two concentric shells of minimum thickness. Here, what are the charges induced on the inner surface and outer surface of the first sphere? And inner surface and outer surface of the second shell. So I want to find out 1, 2, 3, the charges at 1, 2, 3, 4. Let the charges at 1, 2, 3, 4 are Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Q1 at 1, Q2 at 2, Q2 at 3, Q4 at 4. Now, to find out these charges, directly we can say that if it is Q, this is minus Q. But let me take one Gaussian surface through the first sphere like this. This is the Gaussian surface. So, what is the net flux through the first Gaussian surface? The net flux is given by total number of field lines that are passing through this one. Before that, as these two are metallic shells, electric field inside a metallic shell or metallic body is always 0. So here what I can write, the total electric field through the first surface, first sphere is 0. When the field is 0, as it is a metal, this is a metal, so as it is metal, so the electric field within the metal surface at any point will be 0. So when electric field is 0, that means flux must be 0. So what is the flux here? Charge enclosed through the first surface by epsilon naught is 0. So what is the charge enclosed by this surface here? So through this surface, this charge and charge on the inner surface only. So what we can write? Charge enclosed through the inner surface is 0. So this charge will be total charge Q plus the charge enclosed is equal to 0. So what is Q1 minus Q? This is the result that we can get by using the induction process also. That means the concept of induction also, whatever the charge present at the center, the same amount of charge will be induced inside this one. Now, if the charge induced here is minus Q, let the charge induced on the outer surface, Q2 will be plus Q. So what is the total charge on the outer surface of the first shell? So charge on outer surface of first shell is equal to Q1 plus Q2. This is Q1 plus Q. This is the total charge. Now, if I want to find out Q3 and Q4, so once again let me take one Gaussian surface through the volume of the second shell here. So through this one. So here also electric field at that point will be 0, as it is that point lies in the metallic surface. So what we can write? Flux through the second surface will be 0. Charge enclosed will be 0. So what is the total charge enclosed here? This charge, this charge, this charge, this charge and this charge. So from this what we can write? Total charge at center Q plus Q1 plus Q2 plus charge Q plus Q3. This must be equal to 0. We know these Q1 and Q2 values. Substitute here. This is Q. Q1 is equal to minus Q. Q2 is equal to, Q2 will be plus Q, and this charge Q1 plus Q3 is equal to 0. These two get cancelled. So Q3 will be sum of these two, that is minus of Q plus Q1. So this is Q3. Now, this is the total charge. That means charge within the first volume through this volume is 0. Charge within this volume is also 0. So now I got Q3 value. How to find Q4? The same amount of charge will be induced on the other side. So Q4 will be equal to, if it is negative, this will be plus Q plus Q1. So these are the charges that are induced on Q1, 2, 3, 4 surfaces. And we can find out the total charge on the outer surface also. Total charge on the outer surface. This is charge on the first shell. Charge on the outer surface of second shell, which is given by Q2 plus Q4, that is Q2 plus Q plus Q1. So this is nothing but this plus this plus this. In charge distribution, suppose if we take infinitely charged metal plates, whether it is conducting or non-conducting. So first let me take one non-conducting plate. This is a non-conducting plate. So we know that when a non-conducting plate is charged, charges will be induced throughout its volume. So what is the electric field at this point? Electric field due to the non-conducting plate is given by sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Remember, here we are not using rho. Why? Because the thickness of this one is very small. So this is thin non-conducting plate. Now similarly, if you take a conducting plate, so for a conducting plate, so this is a conducting plate, the charges will be induced on the outer surface. Now due to this, what is electric field at this point? So due to this, electric field will be in this direction. Due to this positive charges of these positive charges, electric field is also in this direction. So this is sigma by 2 epsilon naught. This is also sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Electric field is equal to 2 sigma by 2 epsilon naught, which can be written as sigma by epsilon naught. So this is for a thin non-conducting plate. This is for a thin conducting plate. I have taken two conducting sheets with charges Q1 and Q2. So when the Q1 charge is given to this plate, the charge Q1 will come to this side, and that means this total charge will be divided into Q1 and Q2, and this charge will be divided into Q3 and Q4. We know that due to induction, what we can write, the amount of charge present on this one is equal and opposite to this charge. So what we can write? Q2 is equal minus Q3 due to induction. Similarly, the amount of charges on the outer surface of the plate should be equal. So I can write to Q1 is equal to Q4 on outer surfaces. Now, let me take this one. The total charge Q1 is sum of the charges on the two sides of this plate, two surface of this plate. So what we can write? Q1 is equal small q1 plus small q2. Equation 1. Similarly, Q2 can be written as Q3 plus Q4. So here what we can write? Q2 is equal to Q1 minus Q1. Similarly, Q3 is equal to Q2 minus Q4. But we know that Q2 is equal to minus Q3. So I got Q2 here, I got Q3 here. So what is Q2? So Q1 minus small q1 is equal to minus of Q3. This is Q1 minus Q1 is equal to minus of Q2 minus Q4. So if you bring this minus Q2 this side, this will become Q1 plus Q2 is equal, this will become Q1 plus Q4. We know that Q1 is equal to Q4, that means both are same. So what we can write? Q1 plus Q2 is equal small q1 plus small q1. So this is a 2 small q1. So what is q1 value now? This is q1 plus q2 by 2. So this is the amount of charge that will be present on the outer surface of the first conducting plate. So what about q4? We know that q1 is equal to q4. We can write q4 also q1 plus q2 by 2. So this is q1, this is q4. Now how to find out q2 and q3? So based on this formula, as we know that q2 is equal to q1 minus small q1. So q2 can be written as q1 minus small q1. This is q1 plus q2 by 2. So q small 2 is equal to q1 minus q1 by 2 minus q2 by 2. This is q1 by 2. So q2 is equal q1 minus q2 by 2. This is the charge on the inner surface of the first plate. So what about q3? q3 is equal to minus of q3. So this minus of q2. So if you take this minus here, minus means this will become q2 minus q1 by 2. So this is q3. These are the four charges that will be formed on the four surface of these two systems. But the same expression can also be obtained by using the concept of the electric field. So here let me take the concept of the electric field within the conducting plate. We know that electric field within a conducting plate is always 0. So here let me take one point here A, this point here B. As these two are conducting plates, electric field within the conducting plate is 0. So here electric field at A is equal to 0. So what is electric field for a conducting plate? Due to this charge Q1 by A sigma naught, that is sigma by epsilon naught. Q1 by area of this plate, let us say A, and sigma naught. So at this point, due to this positive charge means field will be in this direction. So this is towards right. Due to this charge, field here it will be in the opposite direction. That's why minus Q2 by A epsilon naught. Due to this also same direction, minus Q3 by A epsilon naught. Due to the fourth charge, minus Q4 by A epsilon naught. So electric field is 0 means sum of these four must be equal to 0. As denominator is same, what we can write? Q1 is equal Q2 plus Q3 plus Q4. Let me take equation 1. Similarly, if you take this point B, at this point also electric field is 0. So electric field due to this point, due to this charge here will be in this direction. Because of all these three charges, fields will be in the opposite direction. That means Q4 is equal to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3. This is equation 2. Now let me add these two. If you add these two, what you will get? If you add, you will get Q1 plus Q2. If you subtract, you can cancel this and this. You can cancel this and this. So subtraction of this one is Q1 minus Q4 is equal to, this will be Q4 minus Q1. Now you bring this one this side, minus Q1 will come this side. Q1 plus Q1, 2Q1 is equal to Q4, 2 to cancel. So we got this formula, that relation between Q1 and Q4, that means both are equal in magnitude. So whatever the charge that is present on here is equal to the charge present on this surface. So I got to Q1 is equal to Q4. Now how to find the magnitude of Q2, Q3? Due to induction, we know that Q2 is equal to minus Q3. Now, based on this formula, we can write here Q1 is equal to Q1 plus Q2. Capital Q2 is equal to Q3 plus Q4. So add these two, you will get Q1 plus Q2 is equal small q1 plus small q2 plus small q3 plus small q4. But due to induction, we know that Q2 is equal to minus Q3 due to induction. So here you can write Q1 plus Q2 is equal to Q1. The sum of these two is always 0. Sum of these two charges, that means on the inner surface of the two conducting plates, is always 0. So this will become Q1 plus Q4. But all I got here, Q1 is equal to Q4. So what I can write? Q1 plus Q2 is equal Q1 plus Q1 only, because Q1 is equal to Q4. So 2Q1 is equal to Q1 plus Q2. Q1 is equal capital Q1 plus capital Q2 by 2. So this is the result that we get here. If Q1 is equal to this much, we know that Q1 is equal to Q4. So what we can write? Q4 is also equal to Q1 plus Q2 by 2. So already we got these two expressions there, Q1 and Q4. Now after getting these values, and we can follow the same method to find Q2 as well as Q3. Why? Because here also I am going to use the same concept. So first process is, here I am taking this method, and here I am taking electric field is 0. So in both methods we will get the total amount of charge that are distributed on the two plates.